and you haven't done what needed to be done to invest in yourself. Marketing shouldn't be scary, it should be fun, and it should be the thing that you put your attention into most because it's what compounds to grow your business.
First, you get paid for what you do, then you get paid for what you know, and finally you get paid for who you are.
There's that guy on TikTok that does the pool cleaning. He's had millions of followers, millions of views, doing gardening effectively for free.
You entered into business with iron sugar. What are your gross profit margins? What are your gross profit margins?
It's easier to play the blame game. The government, the economy, the sector, trades undercutting us all the time. This industry ain't what it used to be. No, you ain't what you used to be. You ain't leveled up, my friend. You just been left behind because you're old school and you haven't done what needed to be done to invest in yourself. Hi, good afternoon. It's Joseph Valente here and I'm sat with my co-host,
Christopher Ruggiero.
So you're back tuned in to another episode of the Trade Mastermind podcast, Trade Secrets. We are live on Instagram today, so hi everyone that's watching us on Instagram. Please make sure you stay tuned and you enjoy the show. And we've got some great topics to talk to you about today. This is a weekly feature now, so every Tuesday, at 10 a.m. we're going to be running the Trade Mastermind podcast, and I'll be bringing a variety of co-hosts with me to the show. And today you got the pleasure of listening to Chris, and hopefully Chris is going to be with me on as many of these podcasts as he can be. So this podcast is not just about business, not just about construction, but it's about entertainment. So we're going to talk about some relevant subjects, the things that are going on in the construction industry right now. And we're going to kick off with the first topic of the day. And that is, how do tradesmen become marketeers? So what's your opinion on that, Chris?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's important that they do. So I think the first thing is mindset, isn't it? It's making sure that you understand the difference between being a tradesman running a business and being a tradesman in that business and moving towards actually putting effort into marketing yourself and your business. I think it's a differentiation that, you know, is made between successful trades businesses and the ones that aren't. So for a start, you know, you have to start thinking about building online presence. It makes the difference.
Now, we are business partners and I naturally lean into the marketing of our organization, but it's important that, you know, you become a marketeer as well. And over the years, you've, learned about the sector and you've made yourself do content. Hopefully you're going to do more content. Obviously, this is what today's all about. So how have you got comfortable with doing marketing when it isn't naturally your skill set or forte?
So for me personally, somebody that's more focused on kind of the operational element of a business and the financial element of a business, it's the way that I've got comfortable is over a period of time and just kind of increasingly getting out of my comfort zone, especially with things like content and production and speaking in front of people. For me, the thing that helped massively was just not. I know this is probably not great advice, to be fair, for other people looking to get into it, but it's not necessary.
Why are you saying it for then?
Well, because this is what helped me. So, if it helped me, maybe it will help you, but it's kind of improve incrementally. So first, do a presentation to people over a Zoom camera, for example, that you can't see. Then, go on to a Zoom where people are in the room and you can engage and converse with them. Then move on and speak live in front of a lot of different people. So kind of not just take on the big bits first, is incrementally improve. So for trades,
build up your confidence.
Yeah, build up your confidence as you're going along. I think
so. When we first started this business back in 2020, we booked our first event. I can't remember when it was. I think it was something like I don't know if it was early 2021 or late 2020. It was a 3-day event.
It got postponed, didn't it, because of COVID? So it was meant to be mid 2020.
Yeah, 2021, but you hadn't done much public speaking up until that point.
No.
We hadn't done any, basically, up until that point.
Not really.
And then the whole day, you were given a day, and then in front of, about 100 people, you had to speak.
Two days.
So,
days of speaking. So to be fair, I did have a
baptism by fire.
Baptism of fire. Into that.
That's the best way, though. Sometimes you just got to chuck yourself in at the deep end. I just think there's this misconception that you get marketing agencies to do the marketing, and that's what marketing is. It's outsourcing it. And, most business owners really should be the one that, is driving the marketing. Because when you build a brand, you stay passionate about the brand. You are the most passionate about the brand first and foremost. Or maybe you're not. And I think that's what we see in construction a lot of time. People pick a name, they don't build a brand. They say JV's Plumbing and Heating or Chris's Electrical Installations. And you can't get that excited about your own name being the business name. And to sell effectively, you need to be excited, don't you? You need to be excited about what you're selling, and it needs to be the driving force, really, that kind of gets you to do all of the things you need to do. Because marketing shouldn't be scary. It should be fun, and it should be the thing that you put your attention into most, because it's what compounds to grow your business. It's what gets you recognized, gets you attention, but also it's what drives lead generation. And if we've got leads, we can make the sales.
I think that's a big point to establish as well. When I think of marketing, coming at it from a place that's, I'm not a marketer, but when I think about it, I effectively segment it into two main bits, which is brand and lead generation. Obviously, somebody that's objective and likes to focus on the numbers, I'm always looking at lead generation as an investment into your business. So I kind of put those two things, well, they are separate really, but they're under the umbrella of marketing. But developing a brand is something that's going to help convert inquiries, I would say, into your construction business, into sales. Lead generation is a kind of different kettle of fish, really, in my opinion. It's it's paid investment into generating inquiries at the front end, which you should absolutely do.
It's, people don't know whether to build brand or whether to drive lead generation. The first thing that you always must do first and foremost is do lead generation, because you can't sell on brand. You can sell on lead generation immediately. Selling on brand takes time. So, you have to get known, and people aren't going to buy from people they don't know. And so you need to have that lead gen strategy first. Invest in lead gen till you're making enough money to invest in brand. We didn't make podcast shows from day one of Trade Mastermind together. And the reason that we didn't do that is because we were focused on lead generation. We were focused on making sales. We weren't focused on creating lots and lots of content. So, you just got to know the difference between the two. But you've always got to dedicate 10% of your time to building brand. And the bigger that you get and the more profitable that you get, the more money that you can reinvest into building brand. Because ultimately, that's what creates major value. Good friend of mine, Charlie Mullins, founder of Pimlico Plumbers, sold his business for 140 million. And he didn't sell it because he had the best plumbers in the world. He didn't sell it because he had great 5-star reviews. He didn't sell it because his systems and processes were really slick. He didn't sell it because he had the best vans. He sold it because of the brand, because he'd spent 30 years plus compounding that brand over time, doing radio shows, getting in the paper, being part of the London Parade, really investing in his image and his brand and being known. And that's what compounded over time to create value. Whenever you come to one of our training sessions at the Trade Mastermind and we talk to you about brand identity, the first thing that we always say is, imagine that we were holding up 2 coffee cups. Imagine one from the local cafe and imagine one from Starbucks. The one from the local cafe would be a white cup, okay, probably similar size to a Starbucks cup, but the Starbucks cup would have a brand on it. Now, the local cafe coffee, you'd pay 99p for. The Starbucks coffee, you'd be willing to pay £4 for. Now, nobody knows the difference really between the taste and the coffee, only very slightly, but they do know the difference in what's written on the front of the cup. And that's why people are willing to pay more money. So if you're called JV's Plumbing and Heating or CR's Electrical Installations, people are only ever going to badge you up as a one-man band, and they're never going to pay you premium prices. So you're never going to become the Starbucks of the construction world because you don't have a brand, you've just got a name. So making that transition, really, really important.
I think it reminds me of a great quote that I heard Jeremy Waller say, and I think it aligns really nicely with this. And that's
Who's Jeremy Waller?
Jeremy Waller, Jay Waller. Have you come across him online? It's one of Andrew Tate's friends.
Oh, is his name Jeremy, is it?
I think so. Is it Jeremy?
I see Jay Waller, but I didn't know it was called Jeremy.
I think
now I know why he's
wrong.
called.
But it's a good quote that he said.
Now I know why he's calls himself Jay.
Jay Waller. But a great thing that he said.
He went to a private school. What's that B Rabbit, from 8 Mile? Clarence's parents had a real good marriage.
Jay Waller.
He ain't like you. He went to a private school.
But anyway, what he said was, and I think
Jay Waller's trying to be a badass of a name like Jeremy. Come on, no.
First you get paid, and this is where a lot of construction companies are, I think, is first you get paid for what you do, then you get paid for what you know, and finally you get paid for who you are. And I think that's a great quote to basically kind of illustrate what brand's all about. If you develop a good brand, eventually you just get paid for being the company that you are, effectively. And I think a lot of construction business owners specifically are stuck in that first section of getting paid for what you do, which is kind of not where you want to be.
The thing with construction, and I've been saying it since early 2020, the construction sector is about to explode.
Yeah.
And I called it early and I said, you need to get in and make content. I used to preach it on lives, night and fucking day, that businesses used to make content. Fast forward 3 years, one of those trades using social that's never really had a light shined on it, so people don't see what tradespeople do. And it's a sector that has real great skill and great craft, and it's a very, very interesting sector. So I think social media, TikTok, YouTube has really highlighted what can be achieved within this space. People are blowing up. I mean, there's that guy on YouTube. There's that guy on TikTok that does the pool cleaning. I mean, he's had millions of followers for cleaning pools. And he gets, celebrities to come on with him to come and clean the pools because they want to use his platform because he's getting so many views. And he's got celebrities wading around in his pools in the muck. I don't know if you've seen people like Daring Chisora and all of that type of stuff on there. Then you got the other guys that are in landscaping.
They like the patio, the jet washing patio.
Yeah.
It's.
There's a guy that goes around in America, and there's the one in England doing it now as well. They're knocking on people's doors and they're saying, your garden's really overgrown. Can I cut it for you?
Yeah, I've seen that.
But the dudes are getting hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views for cutting someone's doing gardening effectively for free.
How, in your opinion, how do you tap into the virality of that? So, as somebody that's a professional marketeer, effectively, what would your tips be to somebody? So, if they've got something that they can showcase as a technical skill, like I don't know, patio washing, for example, jet washing, what do they do? What should they do to try and make that viral content?
The first thing is making it easy to capture the content. I think like just having a phone stand, for example, in your bag, in your van would allow you to actually get the tripod out, right? And be able to take the shot. It sounds really stupid, but there's loads of times when I need to make content, I think, I ain't got a tripod with me. Where am I going to put the phone? So you end up missing and capturing the content. So actually investing in the equipment needed to get the shot first and foremost. Then it's about just getting comfortable on camera. The most of these businesses are sticking it in the corner of the room or, outside, and they're just capturing what they're doing. And so you haven't got to become a presenter. You haven't got to be able to talk on camera to the level that we are doing now and hold your own. You've effectively just got to capture what you're doing anyway. It's a bit like
Gary V's thing.
Document, not create.
So document yeah, that's good.
So document it, don't necessarily create it, but then to kind of counter that, you also need to have some editing skills where you're able to snap the shots together to create a story. Because people like to see a beginning, a middle, and an end. So what did the job look like before you started? Show us some progress on what's happening on the job and what was the finished article. That's what, somebody's looking for. And you need to try and frame that up into a 60-second to a 3-minute short, and then use trending sounds to tap into the attention. And because people can do, and again, don't get disheartened if you don't get views straight away. It takes a lot of commitment. Consistency's key. And in my content game, consistency's always been the biggest piece that's been missing. It's doing a piece of content, getting bored and wanting to do another piece of content and not staying consistent. But Unfinished Business is the prime example of how quickly you can build a loyal audience when you have a consistent format. And you know, that show's blowing up. If you haven't watched it, go and check it out on my YouTube channel at Mr. Joseph Valente. Unfinished Business is documenting our rise to taking the Trade Mastermind and our other businesses into a multi-billion-dollar business and all that goes on with what's happening there. So make sure you go check it out. But yeah, just seeing the potential. I think people don't see the potential either. It's like knowing what the content is for is what will allow you to make the content. Like just making content for content's sake, and like whenever I've done just the short game where I've sat behind a desk and just churned out shorts and the saying of doing shorts, I fucking hated it. Now that we're doing Unfinished Business and I can see that there's kind of a mission to it and there's progression, it feels like there's a purpose. So that purpose creates the motivation.
Well, you mentioned about editing as well. And again, I'm somebody that's, you know, I don't do a lot of posting, social media posting myself or anything, but I think that the tools that are available now, especially the AI tools that are out there, just makes it so easy to capture the raw footage of what it is you're trying to do and then just plug it into something like, what's that one that
Opus Clip.
And it just makes all of the shorts for you.
Even in the apps now though, like in the TikTok app, you can pretty much
just do all of that.
A little bit. You got to do the training, spend the time watching a couple of YouTube videos and it becomes easier. You know, I don't actually know how to do it. I don't do it, but you know, it's just because...
So don't let that be a barrier, basically. Just because you can't edit content. I mean, it's so...
You can't do it, pay someone to do it. But the market's so untapped at the moment that, you know, that's why I'm pleased that we're doing this show consistently, because this show in construction will blow up. If we stay consistent with this show and make it happen each week, every week, it's going to blow up because construction's untapped. And at the moment, we sit at the top of the tree in learning and professional development in construction. We are the #1 training business in construction. And we have influence over hundreds and hundreds of construction businesses and are changing their business forever by teaching them how to go from tradesman to businessman, giving them the skills they need to level up, changing lives with the content that we do. And it goes on behind the scenes. So it's again about practicing what we preach and making sure that we put out great content for you guys. You know, and these types of shows will allow us to build that loyal following, that loyal audience, those consistent viewers. And that's why I want it to be a show more than just kind of a, you know, a business insight effectively. So, you know, make sure you guys go to our Trade Mastermind YouTube channel and you subscribe to the Trade Mastermind YouTube channel, because there's going to be one of these shows going off every week. It'll be live streamed and it will also be put up on YouTube. So you've got access to fantastic content all of the time. So 2024, what do you believe what are your top 3 tips to winning as a construction business in 2024?
Top 3 tips. Again, for me, I come at this kind of stuff with an objective view. So for anyone that's an existing client of ours will know that one of the main things that I press businesses on understanding and knowing is, number 1, their numbers. So get to know your numbers and more specifically within that, understand your profit margins. And that was one of the big things that we were taught early days after, you know, we entered into business with Alan Sugar. His team constantly pressed on us, what are your gross profit margins, what are your gross profit margins, what are your gross profit margins. It was just embedded into us to know and understand that. And there's so many businesses that, in my opinion, that I've met that don't understand the way that their business is made up. If you don't understand the way that your business is made up from a numbers perspective, and this is planning moving forward, not just being told what your accountant tells you at the end of the year, but it's planning your business moving forward. If you don't target a profit margin, then you're not really in a good position to grow and scale a business, I wouldn't say. So for me, that's top of the tree, you know, big thing. If you want to make a success of your business, know your profit margins, number 1. Number 2 is don't be afraid to invest into marketing, which is a key one. To grow a business, you're going to have to spend money on generating awareness and inquiries into the front end of your business. If you don't do that, then you effectively accept the size that your business is, and you're going to hit a glass ceiling, and that's ultimately what it is that you've created. as a percentage of the work that you do, you always generate a certain amount of organic inquiries, which I think are excellent inquiries, and you should generate good word of mouth inquiries into your business, but it always only represents a certain percentage. So to push beyond that, you have to get comfortable with investing into marketing. So number 2, don't be afraid of marketing.
Number 3.
Number two, don't be afraid of marketing or see it as a cost, see it as an investment, because that's what it is. And number 3, it's weight the amount of effort into your recruitment that's required. So many people, again, construction companies that I've met, not clients of ours anymore, because I think they learn this stuff, but people that might be still deciding whether or not to come to one of our training days, always complain that there's no good people out there in the market. They always complain that, and we know there's skill shortages. There absolutely is, but you have to understand that there are people out there that want a job, that are skilled, but it takes a level of effort to put into it in order to generate the good candidates to come into your business. So you have to associate enough effort and focus to your recruitment processes to make sure that you're going to get those candidates in at the front end. If you don't have good people, it's going to be much more difficult to run your business. It's always, again, as a business owner and having employed hundreds and hundreds of people, it always feels really difficult to run a business when you don't have the right people in the right place. As soon as you slot those right people in the right place within the business, everything starts to feel a lot easier. And I see in construction this being an issue all of the time. People say that I can't find any good people, but don't do anything to try and find good people. So improve your recruitment processes. Understand, again, that it's a system and a process within your business that needs attention. Put loads of effort into that, because a couple of good people placed in your business can revolutionize the game. So yeah, to summarize, know your gross profit margins or know your numbers. Don't be afraid to invest into marketing. Put lots of effort and attention into recruitment and finding the best people.
And the thing that you'll come to learn with all of the stuff that we talk about is it all kind of self-fulfills. It's like, if you don't have a brand, you can't attract great people, because what are they coming to work for? The days of people going to work for a job just to get money are long gone. You know, the construction sector is employee driven, is candidate driven. So nobody cares about the job anymore. They care about how much they're going to get and what they're going to get from the best companies. So if your bands aren't branded, if you haven't got a good culture, if there are no bonus schemes, if you're not an ambitious leader, if you don't have vision, you don't have goals, and your company isn't reinvesting, then people have got the pick of the bunch. I mean, they go to wherever they want to go. So brand doesn't just feed sales, it feeds new people joining your business. You know, brand feeds everything, and recruitment costs money. And if you haven't got your pricing right and you don't know your numbers and you're not got your right margin, then you'll never be able to afford to invest in recruitment, because your jobs don't make any profit. And so everything feeds everything. And that's why it's important that you learn how to go from tradesman to businessman, and you understand that you've done the trades bit. You know, when you become a business owner, you no longer are a tradesperson. Being a one-man band on the tools versus being a business owner are two different things. You know, being a one-man band on the tools, you still need to know your pricing. You probably don't need to do recruitment, and you sell on reputation. So brand isn't your biggest focus. But if you actually want to scale up and you want to hire some people and make profit without doing the work, and you don't want to own a job, and you want to have a business that allows you to, you know, step back and get back your time and freedom, then you've got to make sure that you are building a company first and foremost, and you've got to have skills to be able to do that, because every business has sales, it has marketing, it has finance, it has recruitment, it has HR, it has operations, it has all of these elements. And if you don't know what they are, then you're not going to be able to complete the puzzle. If you can't complete the puzzle, then you end up with you know, just holes in your business everywhere. And that's what doesn't get the results, is people don't complete. But again, I think the big thing that we've learned over the last couple of years in this training business is that most people don't know what they don't know, and they don't even know that they need education, because they don't know stuff.
The unknown unknown.
Yeah, it's not until they actually hear this podcast or come to one of our discovery days where the penny drops. I've seen so many epiphany moments from sales, marketing, from finance, from operations. So they go, oh my God, now it all makes sense. This is what I've been doing wrong the whole time. And it's much easier to have those epiphany moments by investing in training and personal development than it is to do it by learning how not to do it. People say make mistakes. Making mistakes is not good. Everybody makes mistakes and you've got to learn from them, but some mistakes can be catastrophic. So investing in yourself, investing in mentors, coaches, trainers and people will do the best it can to avoid you from making those mistakes. Because what does a mistake ultimately cost you? It's not money, it's
opportunity,
but time. It's the time, isn't it? You don't have so much time to keep getting it wrong. It's like there needs to be a position where after a while it just clicks, and we to be able to make progress, we've got to ensure that we're not wasting time. And
in our businesses that we work, again, mistakes are effectively inevitable. You just want to do everything you possibly can to try and mitigate them. But I think if we track back some of the mistakes that we've made over the years, if you track back even in this business, some incorrect decisions that we've made cost us like 6 months. This comes down to one decision that's made. It
hundreds of thousands of pounds.
That much time in terms of cost, in terms of lost opportunity, in terms of losing people, not getting the right people. So it is one of knowledge. It's a cliche thing to say, but knowledge is power. If you know, and if you know how to avoid the mistakes, it's a powerful thing to be able to.
If something was existed like the Trade Mastermind, when we were doing Impra, you just walk in, you would have heard what we said, and you'd have gone, "Fucking hell, they're right." Everybody that we come across is smart enough. There's a small percentage of people that aren't, okay? And it doesn't matter how you tell them, what you tell them, they're just never going to do it, right? But the fact of the matter is, most people listening to this podcast will be smart enough. To become a tradesman, you need to be intelligent. To become a qualified engineer, an electrician, a gas engineer, you've got to have something about you. And, so most people get it when they get it, and when they get the information, it drops. And you've just got to be exposed to that. Personal development, we say to everybody, listen, you did 3 or 4 years to become a qualified engineer, and you didn't see that as the wrong way to progress. That was the only way to progress, because if you became a tradesperson without doing an apprenticeship, you'd have been a cowboy builder, or you end up being a, rogue trader. But people start businesses without ever, doing any business training, and that's why your business don't work. It's not because the business won't work, it's because you can't make it work.
And I think, unfortunately, in this industry, I don't know why, it probably is in other industries as well, but there does seem to be a huge stigma associated to personal and professional development. Don't you think, in this industry?
I think it's in a lot of sectors. The problem, the thing that I see, right, is, let's say you leave school, you get a 20 grand a year job, okay? From that job, now you fast forward 10 years, you're still making 20 grand, and nothing's changed in your life. Then all of a sudden, you see somebody come along, okay, and they say, you can do this, this, and this, and your life can change. But for the last 10 years, you've been grafting like crazy, okay? You've been working hard, you've been putting in the hours, but you haven't improved. So the only way to justify why you haven't made it a success is to say the other way doesn't work. If you've been running a business for 20 years and then someone's coming along and say, just do this, this, and this, and then everything makes up. Most people can, in a lot of cases, people can go on the defense, can't they? That's not how we're doing this, too good to be true. It's a scam. It's a get rich quick. It's da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like they're trying to justify why they've wasted their time, because no one wants to own up to the fact that the reason they're not successful is because of them first and foremost, because it's easier to play the blame game. The government, the economy, the sector, other trades undercutting us all the time. This industry ain't what it used to be. No, you ain't what you used to be. You ain't leveled up, my friend. You just been left behind because you're old school and you haven't done what needed to be done to invest in yourself. So that's what it comes down to, yeah? It's always taking ownership and not making excuses. Because if you don't take ownership of why you aren't where you want to be in your organization, who cares? Nobody cares. You're the only one that's getting hurt. You're the only one that's not living your full potential. You're the only one that's being held back, and you're holding yourself back. Most people are in their own way, and it's usually they're in their own way through lack of knowledge, not through lack of want or trying, but it's just lack of knowledge. If you turn on a computer and it's the first time you've ever turned it on and you don't have an instruction manual, then how on earth are you going to make the thing work? So business has, the thing that we've really nailed down with our training programs is we have created an operating model, an operations manual, a blueprint. You do this, this, and this, and it'll work. So you've almost got, for every trade, we work with all trades in construction, the blueprint to building a successful, profitable, scalable, systemizable, and sellable construction business. So, okay, let's get to the last segment of the show. Okay, cool. If you could pick one trade to go in, if you could pick one sector of construction to go in now, which would it be and why?
Great question. I think for me, it would have to be solar installations. Again, it comes back down to the fact that we work with a lot of businesses that do this anyway, kind of seeing the evidence of the results that can be achieved. But ultimately, it's the high ticket average order values that you're working with, and then the associated profit margin to it, and the ability to scale that business. Yeah. So if I was going to set up a kind of a supply and fit direct sales business tomorrow, it would be within the construction industry. I think it would be in solar. I think that's the one that you could quickly turn into, 7-figure turnover very, very quickly. Get to 3-4 million pounds worth of turnover in reality, with the knowledge that we have. I think that we'd, do that in a couple of months, pro rata. I think it wouldn't be difficult. There's a market for it. There's a demand for it. There's, availability of the supply chain isn't an issue. It has been historically up until now, but now it's readily available. I think you can easily make a success out of that business, and knowing direct sales and supply and fit businesses, I think that's the one I would choose, purely and simply because of the way that the numbers stack. I think.
Yeah, I would pick exactly the same, except I would do direct sales and installation, and I'd encompass solar, EV, and boilers just to mitigate seasonality. But they're all thriving sectors. Solar and EV specifically is a growing sector that's going to take over the way that we generate light and power for various appliances and whatnot. But the government are currently the biggest marketing machine for it. It's all they're talking about. I know there's been some slight kickbacks, but even that's creating awareness, we're not going to do it in 2030, we've got to do it in 2035 or whatever. They're always changing. But the fact is, 80% of the population right now are thinking about getting solar installed on their house. So, there just isn't enough businesses out there to cater for that demand. So I would be and again, electrical is just a rubbish sector for scalable operating models. It's either you stay in domestic and stay small, or you go into commercial and you kind of go big that way, which I don't really like. Commercial construction anyway.
Horrendous cash flow.
Yeah, rubbish payment terms. Yeah. So solar, big marketing opportunity because the government are pressing the message. Turnaround, quick, 3 days in and out. Big cash flow opportunity because you're leveraging supply credit, big order values, big deposit opportunities, and just a simple business model. Simpler the better. The more people overcomplicate stuff with creating many moving parts, it's just the more difficult it becomes. It's like, lead, sale, complete, lead, sale, complete. And, that's how we operate. And we've made our training business, really follow the same principles, because we've tried various sales training programs and, coaching programs and everything. And now we've got 3 incredible, perfected, proven academies across the construction sector. And one's the Construction Academy, and that's for all trade businesses. The next one's the 7-figure boiler business builder, and that's for companies that want to build boiler installation businesses. And then the third one is the Solar and EV Academy, which is to teach businesses how to transition into building a direct solar and electric vehicle charger installation business. Because we don't want to teach you how to do maintenance businesses, because they're chaotic, they're reactive, they're unscalable, and the profits are usually rubbish if you try and grow them. We don't want to teach you B2B because, again, it's unquantified, it's difficult to scale, and cash flow is rubbish. So it doesn't fit what we teach. So that gives you a bit of insight, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed the podcast. Each week, every week, we're going to talk about some great topics. We're going to try and give you entertainment, but we're going to give you education, and we're going to get to know you across this journey. So please make sure you type into the YouTube type into the YouTube in the comments what questions you would like to have us answer on the next show. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Adios. Take care. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Thank you for listening to the Trade Mastermind Trade Secrets podcast. If you want to find out how Trade Mastermind can help you further, head to our website trademastermind.co.uk, and don't forget to like and subscribe.